Hello my dears, and welcome back to my corner of the internet. I'm Shannon. That's Bernard. He's my October co-host. He doesn't say much, but he's always enthusiastically here. Anyway, today we have a spoiler-free book review to share with you guys. And today we are talking about Christmas and Other Horrors, a winter solstice anthology. First of all, take a look at that cover. It is beautiful, it is festive, and it is terrifying. So this book comes out October 24th, not long now. I think that's Tuesday. And it's I don't even know where to begin talking about it. If you love horror, add this to your list, especially if you love anthologies, which I do. I love getting to hear so many different short stories in a nice compact little package. And the great thing about this one is that if you're reading one and it's not your taste, it's not your speed, well, maybe the next one is, because I truly believe there is something for everyone in this anthology. I loved a ton of them, and we've got some really heavy hitting authors in this anthology. Let me just scroll here to the table of contents. I'll tell you the authors right off the bat. In case any of your favorites are in here, you can make a note. So we've got Christopher Golden, Benjamin Percy, Alma Katsu, Terry Dowling, Nick Mamatas, Glenn Hirschberg, Garth Nix, Tanana Reeve Dew, Richard Kadri, Stephen Graham Jones, Nadia Bulkin, Josh Mallerman, hang on here, Cassandra Kaw, Karen Warren, and Jeffrey Ford, M. Rickards, and Gemma Files, and John Langan. And I loved so many of these. A lot of these were my first time reading from these authors, and some really blew me away. Plus there were stories I was really looking forward to from authors I have read before, such as Stephen Graham Jones, who's a favorite of mine. I think his writing is so unique, and the way that he spins a story is so interesting. And like, even when you read a book of his, even the acknowledgments have this sort of intensely almost poetic feel to them. I really feel like a one-of-a-kind writer of this generation. Josh Mallerman I really enjoy as well. He wrote Bird Box, and I've discovered a ton of new writers that I'm going to be adding to my list of authors to keep an eye out for and pick up their books, because some really shook me. Now, of course, it's difficult to talk about an anthology of short stories. I can't really go story by story and give you too much detail, or else I'd be giving too much away, because some of the stories are 10-15 pages long. But when you read this book, it's sort of inspired by that Christmas song, The Most Wonderful Time of the Year, and that line, "There'll be scary ghost stories and tales of the glories of Christmases long, long ago." And I can remember the first time that line sort of clicked for me. I was a kid in the backseat of my family's car. We were driving somewhere on Christmas Eve. And I remember thinking, scary ghost stories? What does that mean? And this book tells you what that means. There's stories sort of just born of the author's imagination, and then there's also stories inspired by different winter solstice or Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa myths and lore from all around the world, so many different countries. And what I love too is at the end of each story, the author kind of gives a blurb about what inspired them to write that particular story. And you get a little more info about it, and I really thought that was very neat. And there are definitely some, myths and lore and traditions and things that I'm going to be looking up to learn more about, because it was just really fun to read these stories. Now, like I mentioned earlier, not every story is going to be for everyone. There were some I was just kind of like, didn't didn't really love, but there were so many. There were definitely way more that I loved than that I didn't. So if you love horror and you love Christmas, maybe check it out. And go in with an open mind, ready to hear these stories from so many talented voices. Yeah, I guess that's really all I can say about it without giving too much away. But I would definitely recommend. This one's gonna get 4 stars from me. There were a bunch of 5-star stories, some 3, there was 1, 2, so I'm gonna kind of meet in the middle and give it a 4, maybe 4.5. It's great, it's great. And at first I was kind of like, is it weird to post like a Christmas book in October on my channel? But since the stories are all scary, it just seemed fitting. So I'm gonna keep it at that for now. This is short, I know, but I just had to tell you about it. So again, October 24th, mark your calendars if this sounds like something you are interested in. Also, of those authors I read off at the beginning, let me know which are your favorites so I know where to start when looking up their stories. Can't wait to learn more about them. And that's gonna do it for me for today, but I'll see you again real soon. Bye guys.